Welcome to Overlooked Pearls, a show where I test out strange ideas nobody spends their time thinking about. Today's topic, Glacial Augment Pantheon Support. Pantheon support is nothing new. Pantheon support is actually played so much that if you check your champions by role in your inventory, Pantheon appears in the support category. But most of the time, people either run Conqueror or press the attack. Rarer cases include Arcane Comet or Phase Rush. But the new changes to Glacial Augment has made it a rather interesting pick for many supports. For those who don't know what the new Glacial Augment does, here are the details. Upon immobilizing an enemy, 3 icy rays shoot out from the target towards nearby enemies and you. Enemies within the ice rays are slowed by 30% scaling with AP, AD, healing, and shooting power. Enemies affected also do 15% less damage against your allies, excluding yourself. This effect lasts for your ability CC duration plus 3 seconds. To explain what happens, Pantheon's W stuns for 1 second. That means for 1 plus 3 seconds, the stunned target and any other nearby target hit by the ice rays move 30% slower and do 15% less damage to your allies, excluding you. It means that for a solid 4 seconds, you and your ADC have the advantage in trading, which is nuts, especially with an early game ADC. It's also great for defense because the slow and reduced damage allows you to disengage safely. Hey, won't I lose out on damage if I use Glacial Augment? PTA is way better for damage. Those are valid concerns, but listen, alright? Just listen. You don't actually lose that much burst damage early on, since Pantheon's base kit already hits like a truck. Giving Pantheon more utility is a much better option than just stacking damage on top of damage. I know the whole philosophy of death is the greatest form of CC, but the whole point of playing support is to give your ADC time to scale, not simply kill the enemy laner and never mind your ADC. We have Pyke for that. Plus, if you get ganked or your ADC mispositions, Glacial Augment gives you a better chance for a successful peel. The slow and the reduced damage combined with your stun and shield should give you and your ADC time to disengage. It's a much better backup plan than killing the enemy ADC before they kill your ADC. TLDR for those who weren't listening, Glacial Augment gives Pantheon utility for peeling and is more teamfight oriented than PTA, with minimal damage loss. Here is my recommended rune page: Glacial Augment, Speed Boots, Biscuits, Cosmic Insight, or Approach Velocity. For secondary runes, take Presence of Mind for mana spam and Coup de Grace for executions with your Q. For starter items, take Steel Shoulder Guards if playing defensive, Spectral Sickle if aggressive. For Mythics, take Eclipse for Assassin Pantheon, Trinity Force for Bruiser, Divine Sunderer for Bruiser 2.0. The usual Pantheon Mythics, nothing special. Comment down below your favorite Mythic for Pantheon. My favorite and personal recommendation is Trinity Force. It gives you the mobility to chase or disengage, sustain damage, attack speed, and it's just fun to use. For boots, Merc Treads for tenacity, Tabbies for armor, Swifties for hyper roaming gaming. My item recommendations would be Black Cleaver for armor shred, Chempunk Chains for anti-heal, Serpent's Fang for shield breaks. Friendly reminder that this is a recommended list and not a strict guideline. Pantheon has a lot of options when it comes to itemization, and the situation remains the same here. Itemize accordingly to the situation. Be flexible. Now let's talk game strategy. Early laning strategy is to push your early advantage. Take Q for poke damage. W first is an option if it is a winning matchup, but for most cases, chucking spears at people is the way to go. Engage at level 3. W on the ADC to activate Glacial Augment to lower their damage and slow, giving you a winning trade 9 times out of 10. Mid-game strategy is to snowball an early lead and establish map control. Push your lane, kiss your ADC goodbye, roam for kills with your ult, aggressively flirt with your mid laner, secure dragon, help your jungler and mid laner whenever you can, don't forget your ADC. That last bit is very important. Do not abandon your ADC.
Hey!
Oh shit, Pika. I went there to help Rek'Sai. The main idea is to look for fights and engage whenever possible. Remember that 2v2 engagements are in your favor. Glacial Augment helps to lock people down and protects your buddy from burst damage. You are Pantheon support and it's your job to kick the shit out of people. If you are behind, roam less because you and your ADC are most likely useless. but do not hesitate to take fights if your jungler is in trouble. You are still Pantheon with a stun and a shield. Use it and peel for your mates. Late game strategy is to bodyguard your ADC in team fights. Hold hands with your ADC, stroll around with them, stun people, and use your E to block damage. Glacial Augment will help a lot in team fights by providing damage debuffs and slow effects, giving your team the upper hand. Overall, pretty standard Pantheon support strategy, just with Glacial Augment instead of PTA. So now that I've explained what the build is and how the build works, here are the pros and cons of this build. Pros: provides utility to your team, easy trades in lane, better CC in team fights, punish less for losing. As long as you are alive to proc Glacial Augment, the enemy team will always be at a disadvantage relative to your team, and since you'll apply it as long as you can stun someone, you can be useful even if behind. The cons: not as much dueling potential, less carry potential, more dependent on your team, harder to maintain early lead. The thing about stacking more damage on Pantheon is that he snowballs into a deadly killing machine really easily. You rely on your team less to kill people because Glacial Augment only gives you the benefit of the slow, not the damage reduction. So if you're more of a solo carry support player or a mid laner forced into playing support, Glacial Augment might not be the rune for you. The reworked Glacial Augment rune has easily become one of my favorite runes to play with in this pre-season. It opens up so many creative and interesting builds for support characters. Glacial Augment Pantheon is super fun and I recommend you all to try it at least once. Just once. That's it for today, folks. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like. I upload content weekly, so consider subscribing if you're interested. I'll catch you guys later. Good night and sweet dreams. Meme Cat, signing off. That sucks.
Someone's there. Was that Talon?
Shove. Run. Fuck your damage, that's what.